Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, we're here to talk a bit about the brand new Samsung S23 FE that just landed here in Malaysia. Now pricing wise, it's actually very interesting because after you minus off all the discounts or promotions that Samsung is giving away, you are left with a final price of just RM2499 for the 256GB variant. And I think I'm going to be reviewing this video, sort of a first impressions, not really a review, based on that price alone. So let's begin and talk a bit about the S23 FE. Now first and foremost, a couple of you might actually compare this device to the A54, and to be honest, it's actually a huge difference, not just primarily in its processor, which is way more powerful on the S23 FE, just in terms of benchmark scores. The CPU itself is going to be 1.5 times stronger than the A54, and more importantly, the GPU itself is 2 times stronger than that of the A54. So you can't really put them on the same scale here. However, if you put it against the S23 Plus, which I think makes a bit more sense because of its size. Now this is a 6.4 incher, whereas the S23 Plus is slightly larger, but it is not as powerful as that. So I think this device here slots perfectly in between the A54 as well as the S23 Plus. Alright, so let's talk a bit about the design because I do happen to have two colors over here. We have the mint as well as the cream. It looks kind of white here, and my first impressions among taking them off from the box is that they do feel super premium. We have Corning Gorilla Glass on the front and at the back, so very solid. Other than that, we also have this aluminum frames that goes all around. For me, I personally think that the design, although it is very Samsung-ish, but it looks very minimalist, it looks very clean, and I perfectly like the way it looks here because it's just the kind of design that I like. This mint is definitely my favorite color, but if you're looking for something even cleaner, this is where you can check out the white version or the cream S23 FE. It's also worth pointing out that these are IP68. That means that you can put them into the water, wash them, go swimming and take a couple of photos under the water. But yeah, pretty solid devices here in terms of its design. Now let's move on to the display at the front. We actually have here a very nice display. Now this is actually the Dynamic AMOLED 2x, which is actually quite similar to the S23 series. It has 120Hz, that means everything is actually very smooth. Browsing on this display, I had no issues whatsoever, and a point that I wanted to highlight is that the maximum brightness goes all the way up to 1415 nits. That means that if you are outdoors, especially here in Malaysia where the sun is super strong, you will not have any issues looking at the display itself. It is very visible, especially useful if you are going to be taking photos outside. Now speaking about taking photos, we do have a triple camera setup at the back. Now this is being led by a 50 megapixel main unit with OIS. You also have that 12 megapixel ultra wide, and last but not least that 8 megapixel telephoto lens that does 3 times optical zoom. Now just in terms of the pictures guys, like I said, this is a first impression video, so I took a couple of pictures, not a ton. Based on the pictures, my first impressions is that the pictures do look very similar to all kinds of Samsung devices. That means, the colors are a little bit saturated, the contrasts are a little bit higher than normal, and I would say that after a bit of editing, you should be able to get a picture of your personal desire. But it is very crisp, it is very clear, and I do not have any issues actually with the camera, with the pictures coming out from this camera. I'll show a couple of samples on your screens right now, but yeah, they actually look quite decent. Dynamic range is also great here. Now speaking about the cameras, I should also highlight the video itself. Now this device can do 8K/24 FPS. I don't think that is something that's going to be super mainstream, so I did not really put that in the video here today. But what I want to show you is the 4K 60 FPS video because it is actually very smooth with that OIS on board. So check out this clip. I was just taking a video of this new BMW iX1, and you could just see that moving in and out towards the vehicle, opening the door, moving around the entire vehicle itself. Everything was actually very smooth. There was barely any shakes, and I think the OIS actually did a great job here on the S23 FE. So just in terms of the cameras and videos, this is actually a pretty solid device for the S23 FE. Now moving on, I should also talk a bit about the battery. We do have here a 4500 mAh battery. I wonder why we didn't get the 5000 mAh, but yeah, 4.5K, alright, never mind. But in terms of the charging, it's still the 25 watt charging. That means obviously it's not going to be very quick. It does that 50% in 30-minute kind of thing, but if you're going to be charging a device from, let's say, like under 10%, it's going to take you about an hour to charge it all the way to full. So this is definitely slower than its competitors, but then again, Samsung has never been really like going all out in terms of fast charge, so Again, kind of expected here, though I do wish it came with faster charging. Other than that, there's also one more thing that I wanted to point out here, and that is the speakers on board. Now, they are not as loud as I would hope them to be. You know, I was just blowing my hair earlier on after a shower, and I tried to put the video on maximum volume, but I still couldn't hear it very well. So maybe, hopefully, the speakers in the future version gets louder. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out as well. Oh, final point here. The selfie camera at the front is a 10 megapixel unit, definitely not the highest resolution. So yeah, there you have it, the Samsung S23 FE. If you just take a look at it from an overall perspective, for the price of RM2499, again, with all the discounts given, I think it's actually a very solid offering from Samsung. If you are used to One UI, you want to find a phone that is better than the A series, but you can't really afford the S23 series, the S23 FE is actually a very solid offering here. It's running the Exynos processor, which is similar in terms of performance to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say, why not go with Snapdragon? But it is what it is. Again, for the price of 2499, this is a very solid offering from Samsung. Anyways, if you have any further questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Definitely appreciate you guys. Don't forget to drop a like and sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Do take care and stay safe. Bye bye.